Hi, my name is ShaneidaMonique and welcome to my channel. Today I have with me my friend Mira, and today we're going to discuss why are Black women so aggressive?
What? Black women are not aggressive. I mean, well, maybe sometimes. With reason to, I think we have reason to be aggressive sometimes.
I was in Cold Stones and I had my son with me, and there were about 3 other Black girls in Cold Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't tell, I'm going to say Black girls or whatever, but these could have been grown women. I can't tell because, Black don't crack.
Right.
You can have a Black girl, she could be anywhere between 20 and 45.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't even know.
We don't know.
Yeah, right.
So I was in Cold Stone. I had my son with me, and there was just 3 girls, and they also had a little boy, probably about the same age as my son.
Uh-huh.
So the little boy walks up to my son, and I'm not really thinking nothing of it. It's a little kid or whatever.
Right.
Like, there's no
kids
issue.
Won't always want to play with other kids,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking at him. I have on my mask, so obviously you can't tell that I'm smiling at the kid or whatever. But I don't mind, like, my son interacting or saying hello or whatever because they're babies.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the girls, not the mother of the kid, because I can tell who the mother is out of the group, but not the mother of the kid, but one of the girls jumps in front of the kid. Now, the way that she jumped in front of him was almost like this. Like, I'm going to demonstrate now, okay? She jumped in front of him like this. And, like in this instance, your back would be turned to me, and I'm standing there with my kid. Like, no acknowledgement towards me, no acknowledgement to my child, like, no excuse me, oh, let me grab him, that was cute, or whatever. It was just, I felt like it was more so just a dismissive, disrespectful act.
Yeah.
And, and in that moment, like, I just had a trigger in my head that I'm like, I just want to reach out and grab her real quick and just be like, what are you doing? And in that moment, I thought to myself, like, why? Like, why? Why do I want to take this girl by her head?
Your first reaction was to get her, right?
And go to work on her,
right?
With my kid. Like, I understand that, as a mom, we're super overprotective of our children, and but at that it was like a click in my head that was just like, if I ain't have my baby right now, the pause.
The pause.
But obviously I'm an adult, I'm grown.
Right.
I could, and part of being, I guess, self-realization or being at that level or whatever is realizing, like, when you're triggered in certain situations. And in that moment, I was just like, man, like, I guess that girl, she's still there.
So you're the Black woman that's aggressive in this story. Okay. All right, I got
Well, I am a Black woman, so I'm just saying. But I feel like in that instance, like, it's not just a moment where it was just me. I feel like as Black women, sometimes we are, we tend to look like we're aggressive. Where when we are faced with, especially disrespect.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah.
And it's like, we look at somebody and be like, yo, you should know better. But then it's like, okay, well, you woke this line up. But this is what I want to talk about today. Like, yeah, I do have moments where I can be the aggressor, but I'm only the aggressor because I feel like it's my situation or it's my life being a Black woman. I wasn't given the opportunity to be, like, in the back seat per se. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but, like, I wasn't given an opportunity to just not fight.
Felt like you had to defend yourself.
Right.
So, okay.
Like, even from a young age, being a little girl, like, feeling like, I got picked on because I'm the light-skinned one. I got picked on because I got the long hair. I got picked on because I look quiet or because I'm actually am quiet. And it's like, growing up in certain neighborhoods and certain hoods, like, you had to fight.
Yeah, you either had to fight or you had to look like you had to fight. You just always had to defend yourself. I agree with that. Because I feel like growing up too, like, I was more quiet or shy, but I had to be more aggressive with people to leave me alone or bother me. Like, oh, you got a mean face, but that's to keep people, you know, right, from the way, like, leave me alone. Like, if you know, if you're worth it, then you'll see that I'm not mean or whatever like that. So I agree with. I think it's the way we were culturally. I think it's a cultural thing.
Right,
more like,
right.
I think if you were grown up in maybe in the neighborhoods that we've grown up in, and I live down south too, in like rural neighborhoods, like not in suburban neighborhoods too. Right. But I just feel like when you're around like other, you know, black people, that culture, like it's always like, well, you got to be tested. And you're always on the defense. So it goes with you. Like, oh, she disrespected me. Like, it's automatic. Oh, they disrespected me. Because, you know, if you were maybe younger, like, say you in your teens and she jumped in front of you and be like, excuse me, you know, it would have been a different reaction because, you know, you always had to be like, you took that disrespect? You let her disrespect you like that? Right.
And it was like you were looked at as a punk. Like, you know, you can't let nobody hit you.
Right.
Because it's like we grow up with that mentality, like, nobody can disrespect you. Nobody can hit you, and you stay hit. Right. Otherwise, you're a punk. Right. Otherwise, it's like, well, you better not come around me with that.
Don't hang around me. I don't want no punks in my circle. You know, you always wanted your friends to have your back. So if you see your friend, you know, being a punk or something, you're just like, okay, I can't hang with her because she would. If I'm in a fight, she gonna let me get beat up.
Right. She ain't gonna jump in. Right. Like, and it's like that's so crazy that that's our culture. And I don't think that a lot of people, especially when it comes to like, you know, maybe like Caucasians or Asians, that they go through things like a black woman does. Like, because, you know, I think in Asian culture, it's not acceptable to just be fighting like that. Like,
no, I mean, and you know what it is? I think too, like, we always have the perception like black women are strong. So that's just our thing. You know, I think every culture has their thing. Black people are supposed to be strong. Right. You know, so you're weak. Right. You're a weak black woman. You let her push you. Right. Like you let that guy your boyfriend do that to you. You let him cheat on you. Like being a weak black woman is like one of the worst things you can be, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So growing up, we had to be strong in all aspects. So that's what you got to protect. You with your baby, your child. Like you're already in mama bear mode and protection. She disrespected you, even though she did nothing to, you know, him. It just was just like that line that we have of our personal space, of our respect factor. You're not trying to let anybody, you know, push that. And this how we was growing up. Like black men are supposed to be physically strong. Black women are supposed to be, you know, mentally and physically strong. That's just it.
Backwards culture for us that, you know, like that whole thing with black women just having to be strong, like, you know, it's a hindrance because it does not allow us to be vulnerable. It doesn't allow us to show weakness. Right. Like, you know, like I remember, like if I go to somebody and I cry and it's like, okay, all right, but don't worry, you gonna get through it.
So what you gonna do? You strong. You'll be all right. Yeah. It's like you got a day. You got a day to cry. No, get it together. Get it together. Go out there. You know, be independent. Work, and then tomorrow you're supposed to be. You know, you don't have a day. You know, months of some depression. Suicidal, like you got
what's that?
You know, like, you ain't strong.
We don't do that.
You got bills. You got a job. You got bills. You gotta be strong. You know, so it's not allowed. We're not able to be vulnerable. So when you're vulnerable, then something's wrong with you. Right. Something's really wrong with you. You're not. You know what? You're going through something. You still going through it. Next week, didn't you cry about that last week? What you doing about it? That's all they. You know, that's it. But let's say it was Asian or an Asian girl. Let's be honest. Asian girl still crying about something 2 weeks later.
And it'll
be all right.
But you can
see that.
You can have comfort. You can have empathy. I feel like with certain cultures they have empathy towards their women because they're allowed to be vulnerable. They're allowed to be
women.
Right.
Basically. To be feminine. Yeah.
Right. But it's like within our culture, we have to be like Xena warrior princess all day long. And then what happens is that as we grow up and we realize that I don't have to fight all the time.
Exactly.
Like that was something I had to do in my adolescence because, you know, girls forced me to do that because of, you know, whatever insecurities that they were projecting at the time. Right. It definitely stems from childhood. Like, I think that's why it's so important to, if you have a little girl, that you have to instill confidence and you have to
and self-esteem.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And it's not just like one or two times like, oh, you're pretty. You have to constantly tell them because they're looking at growing up, all these images, and I know it's probably worse now with like social media. You seeing all these models and videos and what they say is pretty, right? But growing up, like you had that what they say was pretty, like I'll be honest, like light skinned girl, pretty. It didn't matter how her facial features were or whatever, she's automatically pretty, right? So growing up, like me as a brown skinned girl, but I used to say I was dark skinned, so I'm gonna say dark skinned, brown skinned girl, whatever. You're looking at a girl that she's not prettier than you, and they're fawning over her for skin color. That might make you feel like you're, you're not cute or attractive.
Right.
Maybe I need to be light skinned or something to get that. So you might want to hate on her. Now you want to. It's not even her fault because that's how she was born.
Right.
Now you want to fight her and then attack her, because I would see you growing up like they want to jump or beat up the light skinned girl after school.
Yeah.
Cut her, scratch her face up like.
Yeah.
Why? Like it's not her fault.
No.
Be happy with yourself. But if they were instilled that confidence in their daughters,
right,
you would just be like, okay, so I see that the boys like her, but guess what? Boys like me too.
Right.
Because growing up, boys liked me too. You know what I'm saying? They liked her, but they liked me too. So I was never in a drought of boys. You know what I'm saying? So, and my parents were like, beautiful, you're black. They made me feel like I was dark skinned because they always talked about dark skin and stuff. So it was just like I never wanted to be another color, or I just happy with myself, and I just didn't like to see people bullied for that. But I seen it, and that puts you on the defense, and you're fighting all the time.
Right.
Then you go up with that complex too.
Yeah, you're right. Because I feel like for me personally, like it was just it's almost like me being light skinned, I automatically had a target on my back. Like
I'm sure.
Like I had to fight. Even I didn't want to. But it's just that's how we're built culturally. We can't have another girl cannot hit you and you stay hit. Right. Another girl cannot push you and you allow it. You have to fight. Like it's so bad that I remember that I used to have like my aunts. My aunts was like fighters. They was they was hood. So they used to tell me like don't come back up here if you don't handle your business. Yeah, right. Like I'm like, what you mean? And it's like, okay, at some point in time, after you get beat up so many times, you learn how to fight.
Right.
And but it's like, how do you now, once you reach a certain age, how do you turn that off? Right. And then on top of that, at what age do you turn it off?
Right. And in what setting? Like now you're getting jobs. Like you can't be like that at work.
Right. You can't be like,
oh, that's customer. Well, my coworker was looking at me funny. Like
what you want?
Right. You can't do that. Oh, boss man, you jealous of me? But, you can't. At some point that has to stop. Oh, he disrespected me. And honestly, I see people like getting. You can see the young girls getting their first jobs. They still in that mode too. They still in that mode.
Yeah.
They still in that oh, this is you're in a different setting.
Right.
No, you don't have to take disrespect.
Right.
Nobody's ever saying that, but how you handle it separates you as, being mature, being an adult. And then they got kids, they're having kids.
Yeah.
And now their kids are emulating that. So it's just.
Right. And it's like, as an adult, as a grown woman, you have to make the choice, and you have to say to yourself, you know what? No, I'm better than this. All right. So what I realized, like when it comes to these childhood bullies, a bully never dies.
Right.
Like they're like roaches.
Right.
No, but they never die. So what they do is, you was a bully in your teenage years or whatever, but you grew up, but you're still a bully. You're just a bully as an adult, and a bully as an adult is even worse. Like then you got like the narcissistic women, like the ones that be like, oh, okay, now I got something to show you.
Right. Now I'm a boss or a hiring manager. Now you sitting across, you bullying light skin. I ain't gonna hire her. It's just like you gotta get out of that. Like you gotta get out your insecurities. It's a shame. It's so bad that goes with you to adulthood. Like all that childhood trauma will still carry on to adulthood. So you're still doing it in a different way. Bullying now as an adult, or bullying your own daughters. You know what I'm saying? Like now your daughter's pretty. Right. Or or something, and now you're like, oh, okay, you think you're cute. Now you're bullying her. And that's why you don't get along with your daughter, or you don't get could be why people don't get along with their mothers.
True. Facts.
You got, that's some of that stuff. If it doesn't, childhood trauma, if it's not dealt with, is gonna go with you.
Yes, absolutely right. Ain't no turning no more. Oh man.
All right. What were we saying?
Black women aggressive.
Like, I work with a lot of women, and I'm always hearing people say like, oh, I hate working with women or women bosses or something like that, or the culture here because of women. But we're women. I'm a woman. You're a woman, and you're saying you don't want to work with women. You're saying you don't want to work with yourself, because that means you know how toxic and messed up you are. Mm. So why you wouldn't want to work with a woman boss? Because you know what things you might do. Then you see that they're doing. So you're the problem that you want to change. What they say, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Like, you're the problem, right? So you can't. Right. You don't want to work with women because you see what women do, because you know what women do, because you do it. That's just how I feel. How I take it. Because why should it matter about working with women?
Right. It's like the flip side, like when a black dude would be like, well, I don't date black girls. Right. Like, that's what it reminds me of. Like, you don't want to date your trauma. I don't mess with black girls.
Issues you have, you can't deal with it, so you don't want to deal with somebody else. Right. Or like right. Or you got kids, you don't want to date nobody with kids, right? Because you know how hard it is. Like, why you want to put that on other people? I don't want this, but you don't have it. Like, that you're seeing what you do. Right. You're the bully, so oh shoot, I don't want to be in there. I don't know how that could be. There's a bunch of bullies here. Let me go where there's no bullies over here, so I can be the only bully. Right. Let me go over here and be the only bully.
And that's the crazy part about it, is like, when you have one person that is used to being a bully, that is now they're in a space where there are people just like them, like other narcissistic females together, and they're going toe to toe. It's like, okay, now it's just a freaking battle of the horns. Right. It's so destructive to watch, and it's like it's a part of our culture, but this just can't be the end all be all. Right. You know, like, this can't. But man, I don't know. It's rough out here, man. If you Puerto Rican, you hang around some black girls. Oh, I know you had to fight.
Oh yeah,
you had to fight. You wasn't getting away with that.
That used to make me so annoyed growing up, like, to see like black girls like hating on a Puerto Rican girl. Okay, so like, what does she have that you? Why? Just because like the boys are like, that's the thing that they find exotic or whatever. Why does that bother you? Right. Why are you fighting over like the bottom, the crumbs? Let them get the crumbs. Like, move on. Like,
she ain't calling nobody a crumb.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, if a guy is in his mind, if he's thinking that someone is better because of their culture or their look, as opposed to yourself, if you're a person that thinks someone else is better, because of that, you're a crumb. I'm gonna say you're a crumb. That's why I call like the crumb. You're talking about the guy's a crumb. The guy's a crumb. So why would you care that they're getting all the crumbs? Let them get the crumbs, and then you could sift through the crumbs and get the a good, genuine boyfriend or guy. You know what I'm saying? That genuinely likes you for you. Right. So to fight and be mad at her, that was just so annoying. Like, I had this friend growing up, this Spanish girl, really long hair. She was pretty. And they just had this like, what's wrong? She can't help she's pretty. Right. So what? Right. She was and she was so sweet and such cool person, just not on that at all. Just mad cool. And we were like really best friends growing up. It just was just dumb. Like, I just was never on that, attacking a woman because she's liked or pretty or the it thing for for the time period. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like not all black women, obviously not all black women do that. Not all black women are in attack mode. Right. It's just but for the handful of freaking girls that like felt like they were insecure, felt like they were unworthy, like that showed up in their daily interaction
too many times, yeah.
Right? And that's what played, a real toxic, shift or what word I'm looking for? Environment.
Right. So yeah, I mean, my friend could now like, I don't like black girls because growing up,
and now you have this stigma against black women, like, oh no, they always want to fight, they always laugh, they're always so aggressive, and it's like, you don't understand, like, where is this stigma coming from? Right. Like, we are not all aggressive, but then you think about it, and you think about how it is that we're raised, how it is, and not to say that this is all black women, because obviously there are black women growing up in certain all over the world.
Right.
But I'm talking about for the experience of a black woman that's growing up probably like in the hood. This is your normal.
Right.
This is your normal.
Right. Having to defend yourself, having to prove yourself, to feel like you're not a punk,
Right.
You were constantly having to do that. Yeah.
Right. Because I feel like if I grew up in the suburbs or just around predominantly, Caucasians or white kids, there's no way that I would have been fighting as much.
Yeah.
It's just unheard of. Right. That's not a thing.
Your fights would be more, depending on their culture, like the fights would be different instead of proving yourself. Because I actually grew up down south, and I went to school with predominantly white. I was probably maybe the only black kid in my class. Maybe 2 black girls in my, let's say 3rd grade, and probably 2 of us. Right? So all of my friends were white. For a long period of time, I didn't have any black girlfriends. So that was my that's what my norm.
Right.
So then I wanted black girlfriends that just weren't there. So then more black girls started coming to the school. At a certain point, there was a group of them, and I wanted to play with them so bad. So I went over there one time and started playing with them. And one girl was like, "Oh, you hanging with us now? Why don't you go back to the white girls?" And I was like, and that's what I did. I went back to the white girls. And I was like, little me was terrible. I went back and played with the white girls because I'm like, dang, wow.
Because you didn't feel accepted.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow. But that was her first interaction with me. It was just like not saying, "Oh, hey, you're playing with us now."
It was like I saw you with the white girls,
seen you with them,
and now you want to come with
but you don't know that I didn't want. Not to say I don't. No, I want to say it like that. Like I didn't want to play with the white. I loved my friends, but I did want more people. Right. I mean, I'm a kid. I want to play with everybody. Right. And I see girls that look like me. I want to play with them, but y'all weren't here. And now I'm playing with you. I want to come play with you. I don't know how to just walk on over. How brave I had to be to walk on over to a group of black girls, and and that's what I got. So then later, this girl came to the school, and her thing was to get us all together in some clubs. She wanted to do sub clubs, a club. She was really outgoing, and she brought me into the group, the black girls, and then I played with the black girls. But if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have any black girls. So that was my first dealings with black girls. Was just like, oh, okay, you want to play with us now? So we're always on that defensive, and instead of just saying, you play with us. They wanted me. You want me to play with you,
right? And it's difficult too because of in people's mind and their perspective of how do I approach a black girl? How should, I don't know what reaction I'm gonna get. You know what I'm saying? It's like touch and go.
Right.
Whereas for us it's just kind of like, I'll just be myself. If you like me, you like me.
You like me, right?
I ain't worried about you. You ain't worried about me.
I had to learn that. I had to learn exterior. Okay, you don't want to approach them. How should I approach them? And I learned that's just an exterior. Most of the one black woman I like that, and I'm gonna say I'm one of those that have that face that
the resting,
not face, resting face. My normal everyday face is not welcoming.
Doing my business, minding my own business.
Right, don't bother me. Leave me alone.
There's nothing wrong with me. There's not that I'm not happy.
It's just my face. People are like, "You okay? You alright?" Yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, I'm doing it again. I guess I'm just, if I'm thinking about something serious, it's going to give you that face. So I realize those women that just have that, they're really not like that.
Right. It's just the exterior.
And that whatever they have going on.
You can't judge it.
Right, you can't. So it's not, that's just some, and some of them, are mean, but most of them I found are not. So I had to learn to be like, "Girl, what's up? How the whole mean, I'm still talking to you." Then it's just like, that comes, the walls crash down a little bit, and you realize this person's not like that. Right. It's just, their persona or, facade or whatever it is.
Right. I feel like at this point, all across the board, people just want love and they want respect.
Yes.
And as long as you are operating in those two, love and respect, don't worry about, the rest of it.
Right.
I'm worried about your face. You look unapproachable. Man, I ain't worried about that. I'm coming to you with love and I'm coming to you with respect.
Right. And I think that's it. If you come with someone with those motives and disrespect the person, then you shouldn't have a problem, with the aggressive black woman. And it's also, too, you can't always think that, your interaction, she may or may not have known that was disrespectful to you because we don't all have that same background growing up.
Right. Right. But I checked myself. And I was just like, oh, Lord, I have to.
Well, got that call. I'm over here dragging some girl.
I'm like, that's obviously God ain't through with me yet. And I'm still being molded, okay? I'm
still a work in progress.
I'm still a work in progress, all right? Like having those moments like, right, I did not lay hands.
So you did it. So that was a win. I say that's a win.
Right. It is
no hands were led that day.
Yes, right. Absolutely. But let me just say this. If you're still watching this, I need you to make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, okay? Share this.
Yes.
All right, across with everybody. All right, I hope that you enjoy this. I will be back with my friend. We'll do probably another talk or something. I don't know. Okay, so I will chat with you soon. Thank you. Bye.